And of course, the beast from Alexandria, now representing England. He is one of the great players in the history of our game, certainly within this 21st century, one of the great players that we've seen ever take a squash court, making his NSL debut tonight, the aforementioned Mohammed Elshorbagy. So those are the two star players, but a lot of depth for these two teams as well. Don't seem to be too many weak links on either side. Obviously, Spencer Lovejoy had a great performance for Newport in their matchup a couple of weeks ago when they took down the Chicago Grizzlies 4-0, and he looked really solid, looked like the Spencer Lovejoy of a year or two ago. It's been an up-and-down year for Spencer, but trying to find his form here in NSL action this year. And then Yahya Elnawasany making his NSL debut tonight as well, world number 41 from Tanta, Egypt, one of the young up-and-coming Egyptian players, one of many trying to make their way up the rankings. We have, I don't even know who that is. Is that a mascot of sorts there, Sean, that we can see on our screen?
They are geared up, Lake Erie Beacons. Jackson, I mean, unbelievable storylines here. I just want to shout out Bernat Juame. I mean, what a interesting storyline with not being drafted. And funny enough, it was actually at this court he went on a rampage where he, in the Cleveland Open post-draft, not being drafted by the NSL in their first season, went through beating Omar Mossad, Nathan Lake, and Yusuf Ibrahim, and making himself in the finalists in a 50K bronze PSA event, kind of showing the people his abilities. And finally, the NSL have answered, drafting him here by Lake Erie, and very excited to see his performance. I mean, Lake Erie's team's incredibly deep. I really don't, as you said, no weak links here today. And we'll see they're all capable of both defensive and offensive games, so it should be very exciting to see them, as well as the Newport Dragons, completely different team than what we saw in the season opener, where the depth held strong, but this is their strong lineup now. We got the two big names here coming in, so should be an absolute cracker this evening.
Yeah, Finlay Wethington was the player of the match in that opening Newport Dragons contest against the Chicago Grizzlies, ranked just inside the world top 100, but he put on a show, showed the world his class, and some outrageous hands on that guy. So he filled in nicely, but his services not needed here tonight. Newport and all of their top draft picks will be in action. And yeah, you mentioned Bernat Juame, who was undrafted in 2024, was not happy about it. That squash in the LAN event, he goes off, and he's shot up the rankings over the course of these last 12 months here, and now finding himself as a second-round pick for Lake Erie in 2025. Oh, how the tides have turned for the Spanish number 2. And then Yannick Wilhelmi, I believe, is how you pronounce it. I'm not sure. He's a young up-and-coming player from Switzerland, someone we're not too familiar with, but some major scalpings on the PSA World Tour so far this year, and we'll tell you all about that over the course of tonight's match. Let's hear from our MC for the evening.
And the Newport Dragons. More to come on the rules of the NSL when the players warm up, but to begin with, let's do our team introductions. So, starting with our visitors, the Newport Dragons, and introducing their coach from St. George's School in Newport, Rhode Island, it's Pat Koska. And the first player up for the Dragons from Egypt, Trinity College graduate, is Abdul Rehan Nassar. Next up for the Dragons is one of the founders of the NSL, Yale grad from the USA, Spencer Lovejoy. In the number 2 spot for the Dragons from Egypt is Yahya Elnawasany. And finally for the Dragons, so exciting to have him back in Cleveland, former world number 1, now the record holder for the most matches ever on the PSA Squash Tour, from England, Mohammed Elshorbagy. And now let's get ready to make some noise for your hometown, Lake Erie Beacons, starting with our coach this evening. You saw her on court last night, from England, Lucy Beecroft. And then our first player for the Beacons this evening, he is the current collegiate champion, having captained Penn the last 2 years to the college national title. From the USA, it's Nick Spizzirri. Next up for the Beacons, hailing from Switzerland, it's Yannick Wilhelmi. In the number 2 spot for the Beacons, a Cleveland favorite and a finalist at the 2024 edition of Squash in the Land from Spain, Bernat Juame. And finally, playing number 1 for the Beacons, former world number 7, current French national champion, it's Victor Crouin. All right, and we're going to have all the Urban Squash Cleveland kids join on court for a picture with the players. Let's go, Urban Squash Cleveland. Here we go. Here's the squad coming out. Isaac, Max, Peyton, Levi, Arthur, Ronan, Valentina, Gabby, Gabe. All right. Kent. All right, here we go. What a lineup. There we go. Beautiful. Valentina, when you come the other side. Yeah.
Hold off, DJ. Gotta get this picture first. Say cheese.
All right, let's get
from
excited
Cleveland,
for
the centerpiece,
the first
Mohammed
period.
Elshorbagy.
The first 2 players are going to have a couple of minutes to warm
Each
up.
and
We'll
every
take you
spotlight
through
on
the
him tonight.
rules during that period, and then we'll get started.
Huge thanks to Will Hopton. He'll be with us all night, our master of ceremonies. Great job with the introduction. Doing a great job with the Urban Squash program here in Cleveland. As Victor Crouin is not going to come off court. He's looking for the ball, and he's ready to rock and roll here. There he sees it in that back left corner. It's been as high as 7 in the world. Sitting at 15 right now, trying to get back into that top 10 is Crouin, star player and first-round pick for these Lake Erie Beacons. And Sean, this may be the first time for a lot of folks joining an NSL broadcast, watching National Squash League action here live on YouTube. If it's your first time joining Sean and I, welcome. Thank you for coming. And Sean, why don't you tell people about what makes the NSL format so exciting and how the rules may differ from your traditional best-of-5 squash that we see on the PSA World Tour?
As you can see on this graphic here, each team is going to be utilizing 3 players, and we'll be playing over 3 periods of squash, and the leading team by score after each period will win that leg. And teams can sub their players on and off and use power plays for the win. And how do power plays work? Each team has a 2-minute power play each period, and in the 3rd period, each team has one more 1-minute power play. Only the team on power play can score points and serve, and the defending team can win rallies but not score points or serve, and they need to be ready at all times. And no concurrent power plays, and no power plays with 4 minutes or less on the clock. A lot of strategy there, but running clock and how it works is the first 2 periods are going to be 20-minute periods, and the final 3rd period is going to be worth 30 minutes. And the first 2 legs are worth 1 point, and the final leg is worth 2 points. And if it's tied after 3 legs, as we saw last night, there's going to be a best-of-5 overtime shootout, and each team is allowed 2 subs per period and an additional substitution in the 3rd period.
Here is the world number 41 kicking things off for the Newport Dragons. It's the 23-year-old Tanta, Egypt. Usually you hear Cairo or Alexandria coming before Egypt when talking about class of squash that has been so strong coming out of that nation, dominating the sport for the last 20 or so years. Elnawasany from Tanta. He's set to
It's
take on one of
surprised
the
to not
world's best
see
here in Crouin.
See Elshorbagy here in the first period. Would have expected him to fight out with Victor with the history they have. And actually, a couple weeks back, Victor took the victory in 5 in the European finals, but England taking that victory home, beating France. But those two have played some major matches on the tour and representing their country as well. And I'm sure we'll see that matchup, as exciting as it is. But this is a new one. I'm not sure if Victor expected it, but yeah, he's definitely a player who can hold his own. What a great junior career he had. Really the only player that challenged and was able to beat Sam Todd, who also had an unbelievable junior career. So yeah, he's going to be moving up the rankings. He's one to watch out for, not only in this NSL format, but on the PSA. He's got a very compact swing, loves a quick snap, and generates a lot of power. Very explosive player, so should be very exciting. Only 23 years old. So looking forward to his,
of course, contrast
as well.
Looking forward to seeing Yahya in action, and this should be an interesting opening matchup against the French #1, Crouin, the Harvard University graduate, a 2-time individual national champion in college squash at Harvard University. In his freshman and senior year, he's one of the best college players that we've seen in the last 20 years, kind of a part of that golden age of college squash with Yusuf Ibrahim and Andrew Douglas, Ali Abu Alain, and Timmy Brownell, Spencer Lovejoy, who we'll also see here tonight, the former Yale Bulldog. But Victor, a little bit more attritional with his style of play. He's started to add in more attacking and some more creativity to his game since graduating Harvard and turning to the Pro Tour full-time, but has a very solid and consistent base game, hits a tight ball, really, really tough.
I do think he's deceptively attacking, Victor. He has such a good base game, but should be exciting to see him in the NSL format, as he's a bit more experienced than Yahya.
Here we have the celebrity racket spin. It's pressure for the young lady from Cleveland. It's well done. It's one of the better racket spins we've seen. It's very solid.
Gorgeous spin.
Big racket spin.
That might be the highlight of the evening.
Here. It could be setting the tone early, setting the bar high. For the 6th gentleman in action
Jackson,
here tonight.
In
the National Squash League action. Predictions, Sean? Predictions?
I honestly think Lake Erie Beacons. I think they might be counted out today with this arrival, but I just don't really see any weak links on their team in the depth.
I'm going to have to disagree with you. I'm going to go for...
Finally parting ways here, Jackson.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to split here. There's no pressure to see a shootout. We saw it last night. We'd love a shootout, but obviously it's the first time that you and I were on the call together to witness a shootout here in the NSL. And it's not disappointing. Came down to the final rally. Timmy Brownell winning it for the Nashville Crushers. So that monkey is off our backs, and we can really just sit back and enjoy the squash, and whatever result comes, we will be happy with it. I'm gonna go with Mohammed Elshorbagy, Spencer Lovejoy, Yahya Elnawasany, and the Newport Dragons to clinch their spot in the NSL playoffs with their 2nd win of the season tonight. Lake Erie will take on Chicago at a later date to finish off the division. Is this the what is the division name? Do you know what this division is called, Sean? You have the North and the South, and there's kind of been an expansion division added this year. Obviously, we've gone up to 9 teams on the men's side for the NSL this year, as opposed to the original 6 from last year. It's Yahya.
Some hard-hitting length here to start this off.
Yeah, not many rails hit above the service line in the early going here. The NSL does generally generate pretty rapid pace given that these players are only going to be on court for short bursts of time, there's no easing into things. They're going to throw the kitchen sink at their opponent from the start. That's feathery touch in the front right from Elnawasany, who's now built a 2-point lead here early in the first. Sean mentioned it at the top, and we'll continue to remind you throughout the evening, each team with 2 substitutions and a power play at their disposal over the course of this first period, which will be 20 minutes long, as you see on your screen. There's a stroke. Crouin looking to draw back even here in the early going of this matchup. We will be here all night to fill you in on what's happening. Obviously, the NSL format new, Season 2 right now, and a lot of big-time names like Mohammed Elshorbagy, in addition to Miguel Rodriguez, Yusuf Ibrahim, Victor Crouin, Mustafa Asal, of course, who's playing in the World Championship Finals later this evening. All a part of the NSL this season. They all wanted a taste of this format that has made some real waves in the world of professional squash. Sean, before we
great
really
start
get
from
into the
Yahya
thick
here
of this matchup here in Lake Erie, do you have any predictions for tonight's World Championship Finals? I know a lot of folks who are watching the stream are probably going to tune into Squash TV after this match is over to see Yahya Elnawasany taking on Nur El-Sherbini in the women's final at 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
I'm going to go for Yahya Asal. Both first-time winners today. Into their trophy.
Yeah. Once again, I hate nothing more than to agree with you, but I tend to agree. They both looked so sharp yesterday. So did Ali. Ali looked great as well. He'll take on Asal, just like they've played in pretty much every final this year. They'll do battle again. Feels like Asal was just too sharp against Cole yesterday. And Hania looked in great form. Sherbini taking down Olivia Weaver, the U.S. #1. It's a great piece of deception from Crouin. Sherbini just barely scraping by in 5 games. I feel like she's going to be feeling the effects of that in the final today against Tanya, who was so good in that win over Gohar. As this is quality here from Cleveland OH. And like you said, Sean, pretty rapid in terms of a lot of length being hit. Low on the front row with a lot of pace and just carrying to the back. It's a loose ball from Yahya, punished by Crouin. Drawing 1 point back of Newport here. Still early in the first. See Mohammed Elshorbagy talking strategy with Newport Dragons head coach Pat Kosker in the right side of your screen there.
Yahya reading
So
Victor
excited to see Sherbaggy,
relatively well.
take the court here.
Start this off the first period. I mean, it's just been neck to neck. Really thought that for a good start for Lake Erie, they kind of wanted to take advantage of this matchup here, but Yahya holding his own very well right now.
Yeah, he's on the ball early. It does look like some great anticipation from the Egyptian. He's got that silky smooth swing on the backhand side, a little bit unconventional, but it does look
Really snaps it there. Victor doing what Victor does best, showing consistency.
Yeah, and there's the boast, and he really waited for the last 6+ minutes to throw that in and catches Crouin off guard. But it's, aside from that rally, been a bit of a staring contest in the early going here. Both these players just playing a little bit of cat and mouse, not wanting to make a mistake first. Looks like he got slept there. It's the one time that he maybe
couple errors from Victor here.
took Yahya the wrong way. But Sean, I feel that boast is a shot that Crouin would have never hit in his time at Harvard under Mike Way. That kind of element of creativity, the unsettling trickle boast from the midcourt is definitely something he's added to his game in recent years. It's been a good season, all things considered, for Crouin on tour. He's not at the ranking that he'd like to be at, and he's dropped a few spots, but some big-time wins, including winning the German Open earlier this year. Some big wins. He beat Lionel Cardenas in that event, did Crouin.
I mean, the depth of the tour right now, especially from that 9 to 15.
Absolutely, those guys are all neck and neck. Why do you feel that maybe Victor's dropped down a few spots over the last year or two and maybe finds himself outside of the top 10 right now? That's a gorgeous weighted shot on the forehand side. Perfect length from Crouin.
That was gorgeous. It's a great question, Jackson. I honestly don't think it has much to do with Victor. I think he's been very consistent. He's been working hard. I don't think it's anything wrong with his game. I just think the competition has caught up and they've started to read his game a bit better. I think he has some unorthodox ways of handling the squash court, and the way he moves the ball around is very, I think it challenged the top players, especially his first official season after graduating college, but we still also have just players, the depth there, just moving up. We got Ali Abu moving up. They're just all class at this point. So I think it's going to be it's a shifting time for the PSA Tour, especially from outside of the top 4. Everyone's kind of meddling in to get into that top 10 spot. We're trying to protect it. So it should be very interesting to see, perhaps in 3 years, how that ranking position changes.
That's a good point. So much young, up-and-coming talent on the tour right now. Elnawasany, only 23 years old. He's going to look to be in that top 10 discussion in the next 2 or 3 years here, making major strides up the rankings. We saw the clock stop for the racket change for Elnawasany. Not sure if it was a string break or a frame break, but he's back with a new racket. It's a couple long shifts for these two. These two incredibly fit. We knew that coming in, but usually in the NSL we see sort of 6-7 minute shifts, and that signals that each team balances out each player with 6 or 7 minute shifts. And we have our first substitution of the evening.
Oh,
here comes
it here.
The beast from Alexandria. Base now in Bristol.
Cannot wait to see him in this format. What a caliber player we got for the NSL League.
Potentially the greatest player to play professional squash in the 21st century. It's Mohammed Elshorbagy making his NSL debut. Here he is, drawing his first blood, and here comes a power play right off the bat.
All right, 2-minute power play. So during the next 2 minutes,
2 minutes on the clock. Newport is the only team able to score for the next 2 minutes here. If Crouin wins a point, he cannot score for his Lake Erie Beacons. Newport, the only team able to score. The name of the game for the Dragons: attack, 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 with no regard for errors. If Elshorbagy hits the tin, it will not count against him. So he just wants to win as many points that he can over these next 2 minutes. Crouin going to look to defend here.
He gets one there.
Against one of the hardest hitting, most explosive players in the history of the PSA World Tour. You heard Will Hopton say it in the introductions. As of last week, broke the record for most total career matches in Professional Squash Association history. 758 appearances on the PSA World Tour. At 34 years old, he is a true legend of our game, and he's racking up the points here on the power play against Crouin. These two played at the European Championships a couple of weeks ago. Crouin actually getting the better of Elshorbagy, although England did end up coming through in the finals and winning. The other piece of the power play is the person who is on power play serves every rally to avoid any time-wasting chicanery from the opposite party.
Shorbagy, one of the most
Oh, that's
clever
gorgeous
players.
feathery touch into the neck from Shorbagy. It is vintage from the Beast. Oh, that's great retrieval from Crouin, but he may have given up a stroke. This will likely be the final rally of the power play. Here's the trickle boast. Shorbagy completely has the tactics ready, understands the assignment here. His first match, his first power play, and he's handled it well. Now the power play is over. There's no rush to end this point quickly, because regardless, it'll be the final point of the power play. What an explosive couple of minutes there. And Crouin out there on an island. No substitutions are allowed during the power play, so that's a lengthy 12-minute shift. Crouin, fit as the day is long, hung in well, but that may come back to hurt him in the second and third periods. That was a long shift. Some major work put in the legs of Crouin. The lactic acid building up surely. And here is Yannick Wilhelmi from Switzerland, just outside of the world top 50 right now, but climbing rapidly. He is 24 years old from Grab, Switzerland. And helps.
Shorbagy immediately switching up the tactic there. Twisting and turning.
Yeah,
Yannick
slowing
6'2",
things
big
down
frame.
is the beast. Yeah, Yannick is a big boy. Helped the Swiss to a third-place finish at the aforementioned European Championships a couple of weeks ago. Nicky Mueller, Dimitri Steinman and company. And now Lake Erie calling their power play for the next 2 minutes. They're the only team that can score. Each team, of course, allowed in one of these power plays per period. Yannick will serve every rally. Down 5, he needs to make the most of these next 2 minutes, where he will be the only man that can score. I'm not sure if I like this decision. Shorbagy is fresh enough, given that he's only been on court for about 2.5 minutes here, Sean. But he's also not tired enough. Shorbagy pointing at the front left nick. Oh, he faked out Yannick there. I thought he was going to go for the nick off the serve return. He's not. And it is frantic here.
Oh, that's a costly
I'm
error.
not sure about this decision to call the power
Looks to the
play.
heavens.
Yeah, Shorbagy knows that he should have maybe elected to lift that ball. And here's a quick stroke. Beast will not be happy with himself. And Wilhelmi would love to draw even here by the end of these next 50 seconds. Give Lake Erie a fighting chance here in the final 5 minutes.
A lot of gamesmanship going on here from Shorbagy. Acting like he's going to give the ball.
Yeah, if you're defending the power play, yes, let works in your favor, absolutely. So he's got to be ready to return the serve there, as he was. Wilhelmi is really on top of the ball here. See, this is a situation where Wilhelmi needs to just pick up the ball and accept that he's in a defensive position, try to serve it again, and find himself attacking. So much going on here in the early going of this one, Sean. We're just trying to stay up to speed. And the Wilhelmi power play brings Lake Erie within a point of the Dragons. I'm not sure if Newport should have gotten credit for that last point there, Sean. They maybe should still be on 14 points, but I'm not sure. Maybe that last point was not a part of the power play. Regardless, Lake Erie very much within striking distance here to close out this first period. The first 2 periods worth 1 point each. The third period, of course, worth 2 points. As we're going to throw down to Will Hopton down in Cleveland, who has an interview courtside in the midst of this opening period of NSL action from Cleveland.
All right, I'm here with Victor Crouin, who's just come off his first ever real shift in the NSL. How was that, Victor?
Yeah, it was confusing, especially starting on first. You don't know how you want to play, if you want to be attacking or on the defensive side. But yeah, it was fun. Got into my rhythm and got 3 points on the board. So it's pretty close right now, so hopefully we can get that first quarter.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks for the insight and good luck the rest of the way. Cheers.
Newport Dragons. Let's go, Yannick. I think they called that, so.
We have a substitution here.
All right, substitution for the Dragons.
Confusion.
Coming in, Spencer Lovejoy. 4 minutes, 20
Here comes
to go in the first period.
one of the co-founders of this league, the world number 75. He's been as high as 64 in his career, the 27-year-old from New Haven, Connecticut. Spencer Lovejoy taking the court.
Great performance by him in
Timmy
that season
Brownell.
opener.
Absolutely, Sean. He was awesome against the Chicago Grizzlies, as was Finlay Withington, as was Abdelrahman Nassar, the recent Trinity College graduate. Spencer, a Yale grad himself, played number 1 for the Bulldogs throughout the duration of his college career. Won the Skillman Award his senior year of college, the highest award that an individual can win as a senior college squash player, at least for the men. And here he is now,
Do you think this
5
is Lake
years
Erie?
removed from his college career, playing in the league that, along with Timmy Brownell, he helped create the National Squash League. This is him and Timmy's brainchild, along with NSL Commissioner Fernando Valdezon. And off comes Yannick, on comes the man who was undrafted in the inaugural NSL draft in 2024. Did some big results over the last 12 months and heard his name called in Charlottesville, Virginia at the 2025 NSL draft, a second-round pick by the Lake Erie Beacons, the Spanish number 2 and world number 41, Bernat Juame, with a great pickup in the front right. Spencer is not happy. I think he got that, though, Sean. I think he got that, did Juame. He is a little bit of a cheeky player, though, at times. Not one to shy away from maybe picking up a double here and there, and controversy early here with him stepping on the court for the Beacons. 2 quick points in the form of a questionable pickup and a stroke, drawing 2 points back from Newport with under 3 minutes to play in the first.
Based in Egypt right now. He's definitely elevated his game this past year or two. He's always had such a solid base. On paper, this matchup should favor Bernat. He's the higher ranked player. Spencer, a lot more experience in this NSL format. And the nerves of closing out this period.
Aren't many people I can think of that I want out there defending the lead in the NSL format more so than Spencer Lovejoy. So good at absorbing the pressure. Talk about strong base game. Very rock solid with his length hitting, with his fitness, movement. Maybe not as much firepower taking the ball in short. The clock becoming a bit of a factor here. Lake Erie down 2 with under 2 minutes to go. Oh, that's Elmer's glued to the sidewall from Lovejoy on the forehand drop shot. Building a little bit of a cushion here. Under 90 seconds to go. Juame goes for it off the serve return.
Pressure's on for him now.
Oh, and he's flipped it in.
Great shutout. Great finish. Still in it, still in it.
That's an excellent weight of shot. He's taking up his space there. Punished Lovejoy for the loose ball. Spencer wants a let. Oh, but it's a no let given. A no let given.
can sneak one more here. It's really nerve-wracking for Spencer.
Yeah, Juame just needs to win this rally and get a serve off before the 36-second mark, or before the clock's hit zeros, rather. We're down to 23 seconds now. Juame went for it. He's going to again here, just firing the ball in short, but Spencer digging these balls back, just poking it long, trying to hang in this rally and extend these points. 9 seconds remaining. Here's the boast. The lob now from the Spaniard.
Can he sneak it in?
It's frantic. And Spencer with an outrageous piece of defense work to close out the first period. He bats his chest. And Sean, you offer me a cheeky smile because you know that with that, I have won today's Race to Outrageous at the end of the first period. Once again, it's tidy work for me, just like tidy work we just saw on this court from Lake Erie here, from Spencer Lovejoy, the hero of that first period, as Newport leads Lake Erie 1 point to love.
Driving the most important initiatives for the growth of squash in the United States.
Know the power play as soon as he gets on court because he takes
Up.
so that's what I wanted to say. Yeah? Give me 3-4 rallies. And then we use the power play. That's a vector.
All right, guys, let's take our seats again. We have 1 minute until the start of the second period. Get ready to roll those beacons back into the match.
Long rallies. Welcome back to Cleveland, Ohio, where by the hair of Spencer Lovejoy's Chinny Chin Chin, the Newport Dragons hung on to lead that they had built over the course of the first period. Get a point on the board here in the early going. Spencer defending against the Spaniard, Bernat Juame, who closed out the first period for the Lake Erie Beacons. You see him back on court. It looks like he's going to kick things off for Lake Erie here in the second. He'll be doing battle with the world number 41 from Egypt, Yahya Elnawasany, the Newport Dragons. Relatively low scoring affair in the first period, Sean. Generally, we're accustomed to quick rallies and rapid pace here in the NSL, but some really long rallies, especially in the first half of the first period when Victor Crouin was doing battle with Elnawasany. Those were some long, very attritional rallies that set the tone for the rest of the first round.
These two pretty close in the rankings as well, so very exciting. We're not just jumping onto that first period, so it should be a lot less rusty than he was in that first period.
Yeah, PSA world rankings aren't everything when it comes to the NSL. We know that some people's games are better suited to be specialists as defenders or attackers in the NSL. Some people just don't really take to the format. But if it is worth anything, we have the world number 41 going up against the world number 43 here this afternoon. 5:42 p.m. Eastern time for me, at least, Sean. I know you're in the same time zone in New York. Would you say this is afternoon or evening? 5:42. What's the cutoff for evening?
I was actually thinking about that as well. I just decided 5 p.m. is the evening.
I think that's
the
probably
summer
okay.
sun
I would agree.
doesn't set till 8 p.m.
Yeah, I do think you're right. At least 5:30. It's definitely evening. We've definitely ventured into evening territory. Maybe we join the folks in afternoon time, but I think now we're venturing into evening territory. For our friends on the West Coast that may be watching, it's still early afternoon, dare I say. 2:43. Maybe some
Fascinating to see the
different
Dragons
folks joining us from
really
around the
using
world.
Yahya as the starter of each period. Maybe that's an intentional tactic with his consistency. He seems like he's doing a lot of the grunt work here for these Dragons tonight, especially with Elshorbagy with that huge World Championships performances wins over Zachariah and Dimitri Steinman.
It was a long week for Elshorbagy. Finally ended up losing out to Paul Call in the quarterfinals of the World Champs in Chicago on Thursday. So only 2 days removed from that. Made his way to Cleveland. Didn't have to go too far. Just still sticking in the Midwest for this NSL matchup. But perhaps not at 100% for this matchup. So it appears that Elnawasany will be shouldering the majority of the minutes for the Dragons. It's feathery touch from
wow.
Juame. This is really nice touch from both parties here tonight. Just quality up and down this backhand line. And excellent counter drop game for both of these individuals, too. It's really, really good squash here. I don't think we've seen this in the NSL yet, Sean, but got some music going on in the background during these rallies. Old Jimmy Eats the World for the folks in Cleveland.
Snap.
Trying to liven up the crowd. Will hopped in, trying to get the crowd going here in Lake Erie as they line the back glass and all four sides. It's like a black box theater here in Cleveland. Spectators all around for the first ever matchup from this venue. On the men's side, we had a women's match here last night. The Lake Erie ladies did win in a shootout. When they took the court last night against the Sono Sharks. Or did Sono win? I'm sorry, Sean. I know it went to a shootout. We were obviously on the call for the Nashville win. Not quite sure how that one shook out.
Both very close openings on both periods so far, as we saw Yahya keeping it close against Victor. And a 1-point lead over Bernat here in the second period. It's quickly 5 minutes have gone into clock.
It's Elmer's glued to the sidewall from Elnawasany.
One thing I really love about the NSL format is because of the time clock, the players don't really argue with the refs. You're wasting time anyway. You might as well just get it going with it.
It's very true. Yeah, it does really eliminate that. And there's nothing specifically in the rules to specify how long a player can take between rallies, but I think everyone understands that with the pace,
It's in your best interest.
and with the clock, it is in your best interest to kind of keep the ball rolling and not sit Shiva over these calls. Very cat and mouse here from Cleveland.
Unbelievably
The
great
tricky
performance
drop
by
shot.
Yahya so far this evening.
Here is the French number
Much
one.
needed substitution here.
Yeah. Beacons down 4. Once again, a little bit of a mismatch when you're looking at the PSA World Tour rankings. Doesn't necessarily mean that Victor has the upper hand here in the NSL. But we know Victor's level maybe has a chance to get the Beacons back into the second period. That's touch. He's left that so far up the court, Sean, on the backhand drop shot. Has Crouin.
It can be reviewed on the tape, which is very close.
All right,
Power play apparently according to the tape. So 2-minute power play.
We have a power play, Sean. A little bit of confusion, but a power play for Crouin, who served out on the first rally of the power play. He was so excited to get going. That ball sailing out. Is that the first service out that we've seen in the history of the National
Oh,
Squash
wow.
League? That's going to be a no-let, Sean. Yeah, that ball was too good. Oh, and here's time wasting from the Egyptian. We just mentioned it. No, get on with it, Victor. Oh, we have technical issues from Lake Erie as tensions are mounting.
Chaos.
Players are unhappy. Now we're heating up here, Sean. It's just absolute chaos. We weren't sure what was going on with the power play. Crouin with that buttery backhand drop to make up for that serve that sailed above that yellow outline. Last court at the Urban Squash Center here in Cleveland, Ohio. The Lake Erie Beacons are doing battle with the Newport Dragons. A win tonight for the Dragons would seal their fate as divisional champions and book their spot in the NSL playoffs, whereas Lake Erie playing in their first matchup of the season. Lake Erie is able to win tonight and beat Chicago in a couple of weeks at the University Club of Chicago on the
Power
road.
play restarts here.
And they will be divisional
Go.
champions.
See what Victor can do.
So we're resetting the power play.
The only team that can score for the next 2 minutes. Let's have a lot of noise for Victor as he tries to.
That's smart. Victor in a defensive position. He just picks up the ball and serves again. He cannot be hurt by losing rallies. That's a tactically smart yes let from Elnawasany. Every let decision helps the team defending the power play, because they just want to get these 2 minutes over with, using the fewest amounts of points possible. Elnawasany, look for him to utilize a little bit more height on the front wall here.
Oh, that's a little dirty. It's a
little cheeky.
dirty.
He's poked the ball
Pushing
away
that
from
ball
Crouin.
He's got all the tricks. Yeah.
Oh, and there's the high arcing Philly boast
Like the,
from Elnawasany, dead as a dodo on the back left. Oh my goodness! Sean, what a shot out of absolutely nowhere. Randy Orton, RKO, eat your heart out. Oh my God. Crouin. Liven up the crowd here.
Let it be
That is
known
one of
on
the
the
most
record.
unbelievable shots we've ever seen in the national
Jackson
squad.
Jackson called Victor a nutritional player. Let it be known to the record that called him a nutritional player.
I take it all back. I take it all back. He is lighting up the world number 41 on this power play in the lead after that power play.
Spencer taking off his Newport Dragons jersey. I don't know what happened there.
Shrewd observation. Sean is repping GFG, his title sponsor. Great Greek food right next to the Arlen Specter Center in Philadelphia. It's the go-to spot for the Denison squash team when we're around Philly. So shout out to our friends at GFG who may be watching back in Philly. But no Newport Dragons representation for Spencer here. Perhaps something going on with the jersey. So Newport down 1, but they do still have that 2-minute power play of their own in their back pocket. So Lake Erie would love to build a little bit more of a lead here. So when that power play does come, they're able to survive it.
This is cheeky from Spencer, promoting his own name and his sponsors.
Victor. Yeah, it's high IQ for Spencer. He rocks Newport in the early going. I'm sure there's something going on with the jersey that we'll figure out. But
Victor really
I do
rushing
love that
Spencer here.
Newport. I do love that Newport Dragons logo. Oh, it's a clever boast.
Wrong footing.
Oh, is there a power play here, Sean? Sean, I think Will Hopton may have announced the power play, but we don't see the graphic yet on our screen, so we're not quite sure. But I do believe that Spencer may be on power play here, so let's just watch with a keen eye if Spencer's looking to attack. Just a little bit more. Here's the Wilstrop long drop from the back left. There's that weighty boast from Victor from the midcourt. Oh, this is a great rally, and Spencer creating a gap,
a little too prematurely.
taking advantage. Spencer seems to bring out his best squash in these NSL matches. It's been awesome today.
I don't think this is a power play.
No, I don't think so either. I think Victor's playing a bit too forward to justify this being a power play defense.
Yeah, he's rushing it. It's unlike him.
Right.
It's unlike him. Just like that, Spencer takes the lead now after the mini lead the Lake Erie Beacons had.
Once again, thunderous into the nick for Crouin. I mean, nothing is going to top that shot on the power play, Sean, but I mean, he is bringing out all the stops here in Cleveland. Maybe he hurt us in the first period because he is extremely forward right now. No hesitation taking the ball in short. This is pretty high level stuff for both of these guys. Really impressed by the quality from both parties.
It's not the best shift from Victor. I thought more expectations on him to take the lead here.
So Newport with one power play remaining, each team with one substitution left here in the second. Newport looking to build a 2-0 lead in the match. The third period worth 3 points. So if Lake Erie wins the third period, will be to win the match. If Newport wins the second, the third period will be an attempt for Lake Erie to draw even and force an overtime penalty shootout.
Do you think the Newport Dragons are saving the power play for Elshorbagy? If they just keep this distance on the scoreboard.
That's a good point, Sean. Right on cue. Here comes the Beast. You're absolutely right, Sean. As good as Spencer's playing here this evening, Elshorbagy is definitely the guy on Newport that you want taking these power plays. Talk about a resume. Spent over 1,500 days as the #1 player in the world. He's from Bristol,
From England, or some would say
former world champion, 3 times over a British Open champion. Oh, and that's great wit from Crouin, just wrapping that ball around the reach. Elshorbagy's
imperative that they take a lead here, and they still have a power play to use the Newport Dragons. So a lot of pressure for Victor to, at the very least, put him a 3.4 point lead here before they start using it, as it's coming. These two are such quality. Line heading. The weight of shot. And just as we speak, power play's on.
Power play for the Dragons. Next 2 minutes.
Sean, this is the period. Elshorbagy can build a 4 to 6 point lead after this power play. Newport's going to be in really good shape to take the second period. If Victor can hold Beast to 2 or 3 points, then Lake Erie's going to have a fighting chance.
Great defense from Victor. Reminder that only the Dragons can score for the next 90 seconds.
Defense so far.
Oh, and there's the post. He's touching the wrong way. Elshorbagy races over to the service box. So far, so good for Crouin. 40 seconds in. No points surrendered.
I really think Victor's backhand is very deceptive. It's the same preparation, and he has so many options.
No, you are right. Sorry to interrupt your far more intelligent and astute point than the one I was going to make, but I just can't believe the cheekiness and the silliness with the smacking the ball away from the individual that's on the power play. There's got to be something. It's just some rule to come into effect, because clearly the sportsmanship is not on par with what you'd like it to be here. So we've got to have some sort of code of conduct. There's a stroke for Elshorbagy, who has struggled here on the power play. It's great defense work from Crouin, who's kept Lake Erie in this period. He had a great power play of his own, now defending Elshorbagy's. Doing a beautiful job of doing so. Elshorbagy, it's
great defense from Victor.
He would love to get 2 more points in on this power play, but this might be the last one. It's just so good from Crouin. He's held so steady. Elshorbagy getting a bit creative, trying to go up the middle, and Victor totally ready for it. The power play is over. It'll be the final point here. Generally, the power play defender looks a little bit more fatigued than the attacker. Elshorbagy, a little bit of a trip, the ball sailing over the back glass. I mean, what a power play defense from Crouin. That's brilliant stuff. Only surrendering a single point on a stroke in the midcourt. Completely neutralizing the Beast and former world #1.
How Yannick can hold on to the Beast here.
Elshorbagy looks to be tiring just a little bit here early on in his shifts.
Yannick's been raising his game.
Obviously had a mega week in Chicago at the World Championships. Absolutely. Yannick actually beat the aforementioned NSL co-founder and current U.S. #1 Timmy Brownell earlier this season, and the German Open back in March. It's had a really nice year. At only 24 years old, the best is yet to come for Yannick Wilhelmi here in the National Squash League, doing battle with one of the best to ever take a squash court, Mohammed Elshorbagy. The Dragons clinging to a 2-point lead. Both teams out of power plays and out of substitutions. It's just these two to close things out.
Incredible guy.
it's a
Incredible
big-time
effort.
error. He had the Swissman dead to right. Did Elshorbagy. I'm not sure if Swissman is a word, but I'm going to say that it is.
Loose from Yannick here.
The 10 on the board.
Elshorbagy forcing it. Clever.
Keanu Reeves-esque. Shifty. Racket is gone. Stop the clock. With 1 minute and 45 seconds to play, Newport with a 2-point lead. Elshorbagy is going to have a minute to cool off and think about it here.
So still time for the Beacons to pull this back.
It's all smiles. Elshorbagy trying to stay loose. Signature. Technifiber racket.
All right, let's get behind Yannick as he comes back onto the court, Beacon fans. Big push this last minute. Big brothers. Let's go, Yannick! Come on, Beacon!
Will Houghton, he's dressed to the nines here tonight. And he's done an outstanding job keeping this Lake Erie crowd engaged, although I have a feeling that the squash is of a high enough level that that will be happening anyways. What a treat for us to have the first 2 periods in Cleveland coming right down to the wire. That's beautiful touch
that's
from Yannick
gorgeous.
into the front left. Elshorbagy's frustrated that he fed that ball right onto Wilhelmi's racket on the backhand side. Yannick
There's that
punishes
signature
him.
from
It's
Elshorbagy.
clever from the Beast. Boast has been the best friend of Mohammed Elshorbagy. This is just splendid from the Beast. Really loves that trickle boast here all evening. Not necessarily a signature shot. He's made it that here tonight. No unforced error there from Yannick Wilhelmi. This lead feeling a little bit insurmountable for Lake Erie. They'll have to win the third to force our second penalty shootout in 2 days. We actually had 2 penalty shootouts in the NSL yesterday. Wilhelmi clipping the top of the tin. Elshorbagy taking his time. Saunters over to the service box. Firing in the nick there is Wilhelmi on the return of service, but it may be too little, too late.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Elshorbagy closes out period number 2. 2 low-scoring periods here from Cleveland, but Newport on the winning end of each. Lake Erie has some work to do. They'll look to draw even in that all-important third period. But for now, the Newport Dragons lead the Lake Erie Beacons 2 points to love.
Tried it for myself, and it was something that I really enjoyed and was something that would get me up and moving and be like a more productive person.
I chose squash because it was one of the sports that really attracted me, and the places that we would travel to, it was really like eye-catching to me.
Honestly, I went there and it was good vibes, a good community, and so I was like, okay, I think squash is a sport that I want to play.
Ever since I picked up the racket, I just like really like this sport because it's unique from other sports.
It's made for me.
I fell in love with the game when I first hopped on court.
I don't know, it's just different and it just challenged me, and I like being challenged.
When I tried it, I fell in love with it.
Oh, it's just like something new and like different, but like also at the same time like it's fun to me and I'm good at it. So like I want to compete and get better.
It's not an easy sport. I mean, it demands so much and it takes a lot out of you, but the reward is so fulfilling.
driving the most important initiatives for the growth of squash in the United States.
All right, Beacons, that's 1 minute until the start of period 3. Let's get back to our seats and get ready for a big push and start this Beacons rally as they try to make their way back into this match.
Welcome back to the city of rock and roll, Cleveland, Ohio, where the hometown Lake Erie Beacons find themselves in a bit of a hole, facing a 2-0 deficit at the hands of the Newport Dragons here in North Division action in the National Squash League. Newport narrowly taking the first period and the second period. They lead 2-0. But this third period, 30 minutes long instead of 20 minutes. An extra substitution for each team, extra power play that each of these teams have at their disposal in this third period, worth 2 points instead of 1. If Lake Erie can win this all-important period, they will force an overtime penalty shootout. We'll have best of 5 points to decide a winner. Here from Cleveland, taking the court, the two individuals that we saw closing out period number 2. From Switzerland, the world number 52, at 24 years old, Yannick Wilhelmi. And the world number 8 has played in more PSA World Tour matches than anyone in history. The 34-year-old, the beast from Alexandria, the beast from Bristol. However you shake it, he's one of the greatest players in the 21st century. To pick up a squash racket, it's Mohammed Elshorbagy.
God, it's clever.
His NSL debut, drawing first blood here in period number 3. Sean, do you think Lake Erie has a chance to bring it back here in the third?
I don't think they're doing much wrong. I mean, it's been too close, as you said, low-scoring periods, but it's not like the Dragons have been running away with it in either period. So I think a few adjustments and a bit of luck, I think they can probably take this third period. I wouldn't count them out just yet, but it is dangerous that Elshorbagy starting this third period off. But my pick right now looks terrible, as I said, Lake Erie would take it for this evening. But hopefully for a penalty shootout.
Dragons. Thing about the NSL, though, is you're never quite out of it. Will Hopton bringing all the energy here in Cleveland.
Oh.
It's a poor shot from Wilhelmi. Does elicit a yes let. Yeah, it's. I don't disagree with you, Sean, but I think the shot was so poor that I don't know if maybe Elshorbagy didn't take the right line, but I don't know if he had one.
Really twisting and turning, Yannick.
Yeah, I mean, Sean, how many winners does he hit on the boast tonight, Elshorbagy? It's not necessarily one of his signature shots, but he's used it so effectively in his NSL debut. Rocking the number 7. Sean, what would be your number if you were playing in the NSL? You can pick any number on the back of your jersey.
It's got to be 0, potato.
You're a potato guy? Bagel?
Just Tatum, for Tatum. Huge Celtics fan.
Oh, for Tatum. Yeah, it's a heartbreaking injury. Condolences to you and your fellow Celtics fans.
got to play squash today and made sure I stretched out that Achilles for 20 minutes.
Yeah. And PTSD.
I do think Yannick is criminally underrated on the tour. He's so steady. He's been rising up the rankings, and I mean, it's a golden age for Switzerland right now with squash, with Nicky Mueller, Dimitri Steinman, and Yannick. Quality players. So hopefully this, more to come from that country. Not the biggest, but it's really cemented themselves as a European powerhouse.
Yeah, Sean, this is a massive rally, but finally Wilhelmi making the error. Yannick's fellow countryman Dimitri Steinman pushing Elshorbagy to the limit at the World Championships last week. Took a 2-0 lead on the Beast, but ultimately fell in 5 games in the round of 16 of the World Champs in Chicago. But Steinman also knocking on the door of that World Top 10, looking to get up there in the next year or so.
That low movement has got to be damaging to Yannick with his big frame. Elshorbagy definitely knows what he's doing right now with the tactics.
Yeah, he's just
so clever
tactically sharp, so much experience. He's no spring chicken, Elshorbagy, 34 years old. We mentioned earlier he's played more matches than anyone in professional squash association history. So he may have lost a little bit of a step down to number 8 in the world rankings after spending over 1,500 days as the world number 1. But of course, so tactically sharp. Timmy Brownell and I were actually talking about this a couple weeks ago. Timmy feels that this has been Baggy's most impressive season of his career, given where he's at physically and how mentally strong he's been and how tactically sharp he's been. To be able to pick up big-time results against top 10 players in the world. Very few more experienced, or more
Just
tactical
fantastic
than
work from Yannick.
Doing it all.
The depth from both of these teams really showing today. No one really being able to capitalize on a lead, especially in the beginning. Of course, it's been neck and neck, despite the ranking difference here, as well as Victor versus
No weak
Yahya.
links. Oh, there's a kill. Wilhelmi picking that ball up with ease. It's a really good shot from Elshorbagy, don't be fooled. Yeah, Spencer Lovejoy, by over 20 ranking spots, is actually the lowest ranked player in this match. Still only at 74 in the world, so it's not like he's way down outside the top 100. Really, a lot of depth for both of these teams. Something that we've seen a lot more of this season in the NSL compared to its inaugural season last year.
A power play for Beacons.
We have our first power play of the third. Remember, in this third period, both teams have the same 2-minute power play that they had at their disposal in the first and second. They have an additional 1-minute power play that they can use whenever they like as well. So here's the 1-minute power play from Lake Erie. They'll still have their 2-minute power play in their back pocket. But the Beacons will look to build a little bit of a cushion here in the early going of the third, and maybe some momentum to go along with a potential lead. See, once again, it's a little bit of cheekiness. I guess everyone's doing it, so you can't fault any one individual, but I think we have to specify in the rule book a little something to...
That one's fine with me. It's just pushing the ball forward is a little too much.
Yeah, he hasn't touched the ball, so I think that's less egregious for sure. When you're poking the ball away from your opponent, I think that's a far more egregious offense.
That is gorgeous.
Kitchen sink here from Wilhelmi. This is really nice. This will be the final point of the power play. A 3.1-minute power play is an incredibly successful one.
Very successful.
Get this third, and he won't. Elshorbagy, once again, that's so smart. Hitting that cross court a little bit wider than he normally would. Knowing that Mohamed was cheating over a little bit there, and he wraps the cross court around his opponent. That's just so smart. Elshorbagy checks on after a very
I
solid
suspect he's going to be
6.5
closing
minute
out the
shift
third
here.
period with the Newport Dragons.
You'd have to think so. Oh, that is tight from Wilhelmi. Elmer's glue to the left side wall.
Yahya hasn't played since that beginning of the second period, so it's quite a big break from him. He should be fresh back, but a bit rusty.
Now we have a power play. Yahya Elnawasany, no, it'll be 2. So the Dragons using their first power play of the period, a 2-minute power play coming up here for Yahya Elnawasany. So we're going to throw down to Cleveland. Will Hopton has an interview for us.
All right, I'm here with Mohammed Elshorbagy, fresh off Chicago, first experience of the NSL. How's it going?
It's going really fun. I'm really enjoying it. Actually, there's a lot of tactics going into it, and yeah, it's nice to be in a team environment. Very different to what we used to, but at the same time, you know, like we've done well the first 2 quarters, and I'm really into it straight away. Yeah, I'm really happy to be a part of it.
Okay, and what's like the biggest surprise for you so far that perhaps you weren't expecting from this format?
It's obviously that you have to go straight away, and that's something Flash players are not used to. They're used to know when exactly they're going to go in and all of that, and their body is ready straight away. But with this, your body has to be kind of ready to go in straight away. There is no time to waste, and you have to be sharp from the get-go. So I'm really happy to be part of this, and yeah, I really enjoyed it a lot.
Well, it's great to have you here, and good luck the rest of the match.
Well said from the legend, Mohammed Elshorbagy. Laundry list of accomplishments. We mentioned it, former world champion, 3-time British Open champion, 50-time tournament winner on the PSA World Tour.
This is unbelievable defense from Yannick here.
I mean, come on. Earlier this year.
They still have the lead. With 20 seconds left
battling here in the NSL. Yeah, Yannick has hung in so well here. Once again, the tactics for Yannick just on a dime to be able to shift from attacking on his own power play to defending, lifting the ball above the service line and playing defense over these last 2 minutes. It's a lot harder than it seems.
Well-deserved substitution after this challenge for Yannick.
Of,
great get.
A lot of players
pushing.
Yeah, you're so right, Sean. This is the final point of the power play, so no rush here for Elnawasany to win this rally. He can take his time, and he makes the error. That is unbelievable.
There goes the Newport Dragons. 2-minute power play.
It's a long shift. It's a long shift for the Beacons. That's going to put them in really good standing here. They still have, after this, 2 more power plays remaining for the rest of this third period. So generally in the third, sometimes we see some players forced into longer shifts than they would like. Likely won't be a problem for Lake Erie here. It's a long drop from the back from Elnawasany that was tight to the sidewall, but Crouin way on top of that. It's moving really well here in the early going of this shift. Cannot get around the Egyptian there, though. Yes, I don't know. Sean, that was a pretty good shot.
9-8, mini lead.
This is so good from Crouin. He's moving really well. It's a very underrated part of his game.
Yeah, very methodical, Victor. And there's a 2-point cushion now.
Appreciate the creativity here from Crouin. That trickle boast that he threw in, not looking to be a winner, but just really looking to stretch Yahya into the front corner and just throw some different looks at him, try to get him unsettled. He ends up with a fortuitous call on the back end of that rally. Oh, that is
Brilliant.
inch perfect.
Victor.
More picturesque than a Wes Anderson film for Victor Crouin, who had that ball just gorilla glued to the left side wall. Beacons with a 3-point lead. They still have their 2-minute power play at their disposal. The Dragons down to only their 1-minute power play.
This is ruthless squash from Victor. Ruthless squash.
Yeah. Both
Making
Yannick
Yahya
and Crouin. Yeah, just playing at such a
This is
high
where
level
Victor
here.
shows his class. He is
The last 14 minutes.
bit above in the rankings.
Yeah, Crouin loves playing with a lead. Not necessarily as much of a come-behind player, but just so solid and tough to break down when he's up. Tough time. He's had a tough time just getting stuck in here. Yeah, he just looks incredibly unsettled. Victor is controlling all of these rallies. And even when Yahya was on power play against Yannick, it felt like he was the one spending more time away from the tee, under pressure. Just trying to get his footing here and get comfortable. It's been a challenge.
Good work from both players. But Lake Erie in prime position right now. They have another 2-minute power play as opposed to Newport Dragons only having a 1-minute power play. So this is where the coach's strategy is affecting. It's unbelievable the way Victor's able to do that.
Such a classy shift from the French number 1. Maybe Spencer Lovejoy can put a dent into this lead. Crouin is in an absolute roll here. Spencer has the Newport Dragons jersey back on. He's figured out whatever the issue was. Oh, there it is again! A slam dunk.
I can't get over Jackson calling an attritional player.
He certainly has a good time. feels like he should be playing like this.
Crystal boast. Wow. And
all
now
year
they're
long,
trying to
not
run
just
away
in
with it.
the NSL.
Can they stop the bleeding?
This is a crucial stretch here. Lovejoy really just wants to hunker down and not let this match get too far away from Newport. This is the most forward I've ever seen Victor's game. It's really...
It's always been like this, Jackson. I think it's just it's an underrated component. People really categorizing him as a traditional player. I always thought he moves the ball very well. But his base hitting, as you said, is just so solid, which deceives a lot of players thinking that he's a traditional. But
blinding piece. I think compared to best of 5 squash, generally on the front half of games, until we get to kind of the 4-all, 5-all portion of games. As off comes Victor, he's going to get a much needed and well-deserved rest. On comes Bernat Juame.
Curious what Victor just told Bernat as he jumps on.
I think Victor does like to get stuck into matches, and until he gets to 4-all, 5-all, until he gets to that mid-stage of games, generally he does play very attritional. He doesn't go for much, plays with a lot of margin. Then maybe opens the court up a little bit in the back end.
The biggest lead, everyone. The entire evening so far.
Wasting no time. Laying it on to Newport here, and yeah, big time lead here. But Lake Erie's built only 12 points in the last 18 minutes for the Dragons. They won't be too happy with that. But it's all credit to Victor Wilhelmi and Victor Crouin. Yannick Wilhelmi, excuse me, as once again a crucial juncture in this period. Spencer's not able to at least get a couple points back over the next few minutes.
Keep in mind,
as a teammate,
if you're put...
The defense up by 10. 22-12, just over 11 minutes on the clock.
Sorry, go ahead, Sean.
Keep in mind, if you're put in a position where your teammates are giving you this lead, you can play a lot more relaxed in your margins of error. You can go for it a lot more than, for example, Spencer, who needs to play so tight with so much pressure now to make sure you don't make any errors. So that's another element of the NSL here. Bernat can play relaxed. Bernat can play his best brand of squash without having to panic at all.
Yeah, Spencer looks a little tired. When the ball flew off court, he was kind of leaning on his racket there. You see him hunched over between rallies. He hasn't been out there that long on this particular shift. Maybe not 100%, or maybe his shifts in the first 2 periods got to him a little bit. But yeah, this is not necessarily prime position for Spencer to be in. He is great at absorbing that pressure, but maybe not best at putting the ball away in a hurry and racking up points quickly. There's an error for the American. There he is, hunched over again.
It's a mountain to climb now. This is a mountain to climb.
Yeah, it's running away from the Dragons.
What have I done to deserve this, Jackson? They deserve 2 penalty shootouts,
ElShorbagy's sub in the next 60 seconds, I would imagine. It's rapid. Oh, it's rapid, Sean. Now Spencer maybe putting some work into the legs of Juame. If he can come through with this rally, maybe he can build some momentum. But he buries the ball in the tin. Juame looks crashes a daisy, and that might have sealed the fate of the Newport Dragons here in the third.
My Lake Erie pick
minutes to go.
starting to look real good now. I knew it was going to be a close one today.
The Beacons building momentum. Sean, you may turn out to be genius all along. Oh, shot though.
It's really their depth.
This is great retrieval from Juame.
Oh,
wow! Call the taxi.
Sent him back to Philly or Connecticut.
Lovejoy a map there. Ay, ay, ay.
1 minute power play called by the Dragons for the next 60 seconds.
This is the only power play they have left now.
This is their final power play. They have to do some major damage over the next 53 seconds. Oh, Air Lovejoy! Slam dunk into the nick on the forehand side. That's one for the highlight reel. It may just have come too little too late, though, for Newport.
Bit ambitious from Spencer. Aiming a volley 3-wall boast.
20 seconds left on the power play. Great defense from Bernat so far.
Yeah, that volley 2-wall boast can be an effective shot if your opponent's kind of stuck in the back corner, but the volley 3-wall boast, I would imagine, is that of a super high success rate. Oh, wow. Spencer, he's left his feet here about 7 times over this power play. He's eager to get up in the air.
It's tough. The 1 minute power play, it's just not enough time to really build any momentum. And we saw Sam Sherrill, coach of New York Knights, use that, bunch them up together as a 3-minute power play.
And Sean, I would almost rather have. I would almost rather have 1 2-minute power play than 3 1-minute power plays. It's just so hard to really get a groove over the course of that 1 minute.
Now, can the Beast do what the Beast does? If there's anyone out there who could do this.
I mean, this will be the stuff of legends if Elshorbagy can come back here. Keep in mind, Newport does still have a 2-minute power play remaining.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Juame gonna look to bury the hatch here. So that means that Elshorbagy is only gonna have 5 minutes to crawl back. Cheeky smile, and there he is, poking the ball away. Juame's been doing it all day. Don't want to hear it from him. Here's an error from the Spaniard.
Elshorbagy perhaps going to exhibition mode, knowing that this might be a little too big of a mountain to climb. They might as well start preparing for the penalty shootout.
This could be good for Elshorbagy if he's able to treat this, to your point, Sean, a little bit exhibition-y. Maybe he's able to let the arm go a little bit and get loose, which could help him come time for the
why tire yourself out here when you know the shootout's coming?
Very true.
16 points, 1 minute left on the power play. Let's go, Beacons!
Will Hopton might be the MVP of the evening.
As clever as the body serve is during a power play, it's interesting because the players just call lets now, so it's actually just wasting time.
Incredible play from Bernat. 33 to 15, 30 seconds to go on the power play.
Shootout with Elshorbagy in the house is just unbelievable. And it looks like that's what we're going to have here with
It's going to be drama down the stretch.
masterful third period for
8 seconds left for Nelson.
Oh, wow. Touch. Little short game here in Cleveland. Juame gets the better of that exchange. Close out. Final power play of the third period.
we got the two best players in the house today.
For Lake Erie. Two of the best players in the world doing battle here in Cleveland, Ohio. this battle for the NSL North Division.
Let's go, Victor!
Newport has the opportunity to clinch the North Division. With a
Very
win
fascinating
today.
to see how they're going to
Chicago
start
Grizzlies
playing.
4-0. This could be kamikaze exhibition style.
Guys, the NSL action does not stop. We have the District Infernos against the Philadelphia Freedom, a rematch of that season opener right after this. So the NSL action doesn't stop. If you want to be up to date, follow the website or just like and subscribe on the YouTube so you have the reminders up as well.
Beacons up 36 to 17. Looks like for the second night in a row, we could be
Smash that
heading to
subscribe
the
button.
infamous NSL Shootout.
I believe it'll be the former world number 4 and British number 1, Paul Johnson, on the call for tonight's ladies matchup, along with former
Just
top
devastating news.
American squash
Devastating
player
news with Rowan.
on the ladies' side, Olivia Klein. There's a great little fake. James Westtrap style from Elshorbagy there. Tongue's going the wrong way, but should be a cracker of a match between the Freedom and the District Inferno.
Our thoughts and prayers for Rowan Elshorbagy, who suffered an injury in the World Champs. She was in such good form.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure she'll be back
Taking on Gina
stronger.
Kennedy in the round of 16. Yeah, Rowan, obviously a two-time World Junior champion, just starting to find her groove. She had a great showing in her NSL debut a couple of weeks ago. Sean and I were on the call for that one in Philadelphia at the Spectre Center. And yeah, we hope she's.
I mean, do DC look like the
playing
favorites
small.
now with that injury, Jackson? Given that she'll be
Yeah,
out.
I think so. Obviously, Olivia Weaver is going to be out for tonight's match as well, given that she just lost out in the semifinals of the World Champs last night. So Philly's going to be a little bit depleted for tonight's matchup. DC at full strength, obviously led by Amanda Sovey, the world number 8 and former world number 3. So I think DC might be the runaway favorites, but I think Lake Erie looks quite strong as well, to be honest, with Gina Kennedy, Anna Moatez, and
No, I think they're the other team. So, Mohammed is on the Sono Sharks.
Salma Haney on the Sono Sharks, Anna Moatez,
And Marina Stefanoni.
Stefanoni. Where's Stefanoni on the beat? I think she may be on the Beacons.
She's on the Sono Sharks.
No, I think you're. I'm sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, get excited. The shootout is coming. I mean, curious to see how much they're going to conserve their energy here. But I mean, involving the caliber of players we have this evening, with the likes of Elshorbagy, Victor, Bernat Juame, Yahya, Yannick, Spencer. This is going to be an unbelievable shootout. It's just such contrast of styles of squash here, all on display, and the pressure of 1 point.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth, Sean. A lot of different playing styles on display in this matchup. It'll be fascinating in the 1 point shootout format, how these individuals fare. We have some drama in store for the folks watching at home here from Cleveland.
Put on the live chat who you guys think is going to take in the shootout. Who's built for the shootout? Who do you think is the best player? Who would you want to have, Jackson, as probably the best shootout player?
I mean, the way Victor Crouin is playing here tonight, he's been the best player on the court thus far. I'm taking him over anyone here. You certainly never, ever, as a lot of people did at the World Champs last week in the second round against Mohamed Zachary, a lot of people counted out the Beast for Bristol. It's a very bad idea, let me tell you.
4, 3,
I perhaps might have been a part of that crowd. How dare I disrespect the go-to score?
So when it rains, it pours.
We got the shootout.
Tonight. We have another one here tonight. You're over the moon, grinning ear to ear.
Again, what have I done, Jackson, to deserve this?
Sean,
All
what a
year
treat for
of being
us
deprived
this
of
weekend.
shootouts.
2 great matches with lots of high quality.
For those of you who were here last night, you will remember how that works, but in case you weren't, a refresher on the rules. Each team will send out players in order. Number 1 to play first, then number 2s, then number 3s, all for 1 single point.
Yeah, so how the shootout works is, given that it's been tied 2-2, the top 3 players from each team are going to go head-to-head. So each team player present must play in their designated order, repeating until the end, and each player will face off for 1 point according to the order, and each team will be awarded 1 point based on the result of each individual point in the shootout. And the first team to get to 3 points wins the shootout and will take the match, as we saw last night with Pimmy with the Philly Post. What a treat we have, ladies and gentlemen, this evening. Wow.
It was 2-2 last night. It came down to that final point between Timmy Brownell and Ben Smith. 2 of the names in action this weekend. It's been a star-studded weekend of NSL action, as we mentioned. Gina Kennedy, Salma Haney, Marina Stefanoni, Mohammed Elshorbagy, Victor Crouin, as well as Mohamed Zakaria.
I'm so curious,
T.S.
Jackson. Do you
Newton,
think
the star power has been off
Elshorbagy's
the
just
chart.
going to go for it? Right off the serve, what do we think? A
I
rally
doubt
or a quick finish here?
I think we're going to see a rally upwards of 45 seconds to start. I think there's a very good chance it ends in a yes-let call. I think we're going to see some. I don't think either players are going to force it here in this opening rally of the shootout. That's my prediction.
Prediction looks solid so far. So silent right now.
Here, a pin drop at the Urban Squash Center in Cleveland. Oh, it's so good from both of these guys.
Oh, he went in.
Just a long drop. He's gone for it twice in a row here.
Almost found it.
4 corner
Maggie holding
squash from
strong.
Crouin.
Great length there. The weight of shot, so good. Elshorbagy. Talk about a mega rally here.
Oh,
wow.
and his elbows going to the sidewall. Unable to scrape it off.
Lake Erie
Mohammed
Beacons going
Elshorbagy,
down the
Victor
escalator.
Crouin. Takes that
So starts
opening
the shootout.
exchange. Big time rally to kick off this shootout. And Lake Erie draws first blood.
Mind games going on. Or what do we think here, Jackson? Someone's going to go for it or another rally?
I think this one's going to be a little bit shorter here, John. I don't know if people want to hear my predictions all that long. I think Bernat's going to maybe make an error here. It could be a Bernat 10 to end this rally.
I think it might be, I might agree. I think it's going to be on Bernat's terms here.
Live by the drama, you die by the drama.
It's the attack.
It's far more frantic than the first rally. Oh, wow. And a major fist pump. Yahya wants to let. He's not going to get it. He was out of position.
Quite a hole now.
Space.
They're in quite a hole.
He's not happy.
Only one more point.
The Newport Dragons, who led, having had won the first 2 periods, felt like Lake Erie was a bit dead to rights.
On court now for the Dragons, Spencer Lovejoy, and for the Beacons.
Now they're 1 point away from storming all the way back, giving themselves a chance to clinch the North Division in a couple weeks in Chicago, but not if Spencer Lovejoy has anything to say about it. Looking to keep the Dragons alive as the American. Wilhelmi off the loose ball, and Spencer, what's happened? Wilhelmi leading Lake Erie to victory. Oh, just a little bit of a case of the yips there for Lovejoy. He played really well today.
What a moment for Lake Erie.
Crucial moment. It's Yannick Wilhelmi winning the match for the Beacons.
Victory for the organization there. What an entertaining evening there. Jackson, I'm beaming in happiness right now. I just got my prediction correct over you.
He came all the way back there. Will Hopson, some clean, crisp daps. We encourage folks at home to. Oh, I mean, we're hearing them even though he's not on screen. We're hearing the daps. I mean, you fast back on your YouTube stream and listen to those once again. He's done a great job, and he looks spectacular tonight. We're gonna throw down to hit as he's gonna chat with our winners, the hometown boys, victorious tonight, advancing to 1-0 on the season. Lake Erie Beacons, in thrilling fashion, take down in a shootout.
We're going to start with Bernat. Bernat is back in Cleveland, and he's had such great success here. And let's hear from Bernat what it means to be on this Lake Erie Beacons team.
Obviously, can you hear me? Amazing experience. It's something new for us. And I want to thank everybody who came to support, to just enjoy a nice afternoon of squash. And obviously here is like a special place for me, and I'm always looking forward to come back. And hopefully we run it back, man. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Bernat. I'm going to move down the line to Victor. This, after some visa issues last year, was Victor's first ever experience of a real NSL match. Victor, take us through how that was from your side.
Yeah, it was a great experience. Felt a lot of pressure from Will to perform today, especially after the girls losing in the shootout yesterday. We wanted to show them how it's done. No, it's great. It's a great atmosphere. You guys were loud yesterday and today. It's great to share the court with great legends like Mohamed and also all my teammates. And yeah, hopefully we can win again in Chicago in a few weeks.
Yes, great. Well said, Victor. And a reminder for Beacons fans who maybe haven't studied the schedule that closely, the Beacons are on the road in Chicago on June 7th. We look forward to seeing you all there. Moving down the line to Yannick, who came through and clinched the deciding point in the shootout. How was the pressure out there as you were playing that third and final point of the shootout?
Yeah, the pressure was obviously high. We wanted to win. We were 2-love up, which gave me a little less pressure, I think, than Spencer. Yeah, through the middle playing, that wasn't maybe not the best job, but yeah, it worked. But no, it was a great experience, and happy to be here. And it's such a great crowd. It's amazing to play.
All right, thank you, Yannick. And now Coach Lucy Beecroft, who was a little bit worried about her NSL career going 0-3, but she turned it around with coaching these guys through to a win. Lucy, give us a bit of an insight into the strategy this evening.
Yeah, I mean, I was never in doubt when we went 2-0 down. I think, you know, we were on the reverse side of that, pretty much the same scoreline last night. So I had every confidence in the boys to come back out in the third period and take it. And yeah, I think, you know, I've learned all my lessons now from the defeat. So, I mean, I think coaching an NSL team, the strategy, I don't know what it is, or if you'll ever get it down, but I'll take it for tonight for sure. So good job, boys.
All right, and finally finishing with Nick Spizzeri, who was supporting the team from the bench. For those of you who don't know, Nick's brother Elliot is on the ATP tour and was there in the Cleveland Open final at the Cleveland Racket Club back in January. So amazing to have the family playing racket sports in Cleveland this year. Nick, watching that from the bench, like how were your emotions? How much input you're giving to the team? You know, perhaps watching is not as easy as playing sometimes. Love to hear your insight.
Yeah, I mean, I had a good time watching the boys out there. They performed very well. It was fun to be a punching bag for them on the court for the past couple days. Yeah, I mean, being on the bench was fine. I'm in for Chicago, so we'll see what happens there. But excited to make my debut, and thanks to the boys for getting it done today. They played really well.
Awesome. Thank you to our Beacons players and coaching staff, and of course a big thank you to all of our Beacons fans for coming out, and to our visitors from Newport. Big hand for the Newport Dragons. And I think finally, as we wrap up our first NSL weekend in Cleveland, it would be remiss not to mention our Beacon owners, Sam Duval and Mark Anderson, for making this all happen. A huge hand. All right,
A big thanks to Will for taking care of all of us players and dressing up as the Beacon himself. So.
Thank you, Lucy. All right, I'll stop talking. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. What a time.
Will Hodson, he was awesome tonight. The Beacon himself, as Lucy Beecroft let us know. And a beacon of hope for the Lake Erie playoff chances. They will head to Chicago in 3 weeks, as you heard from Mr. Hopton, with a chance to clinch the North Division. Even if they end up losing to Chicago, if they were to lose in a shootout and go down 3-2, they would still find themselves in a really good potential position to come through as a playoff team. The New York City Knights 1-1 as well, so they might get that wild card spot. For those who don't know, the 3 division winners and 1 extra wild card team into the playoffs. So obviously it would be a little bit of math that would accompany these judgment calls and these close calls, I should say, when it comes to points and who qualifies. But Lake Erie does control their own destiny. Win, and they are in to the playoffs in Philly at the Arlen Specter Center coming up in a little over a month. Sean, how do you like Lake Erie's long-term championship chances when you look beyond tonight and they're 1-0, but do you think that this team has a real chance to contend with some of the best teams in the league?
I really do think so. I think one of their biggest strengths they have, I mentioned at the beginning, is the depth, the strength of all 3 players. The rankings are very good. They're actually just great players, and I think they have a good balance of attacking and defense. A lot of two-way players on that roster, so it should be very exciting. And also it would be great to see Nick Spizzeri make his debut as well. Just fantastic all around. I think they were my pick today, and I'm glad it hit, but yeah. Good things ahead, and it's also just exciting to see no one securing the playoff spot just yet. It shows the parity with it throughout the entire league so far.
Yeah, no one is safe. Looking forward to seeing recent University of Pennsylvania graduate Nick Spizzeri in action for Lake Erie, coming up once again in 3 weeks in Chicago at the University Club. Buy tickets if you're in the area. If not, it'll be streamed right here on the National Squash League YouTube channel. Stay tuned later this evening. Coming up any moment, the DC Inferno taking on the Philadelphia Freedom at home at Squash on Fire in Washington, D.C. A rematch from them playing in Philly a few short weeks ago. Philly getting the better of that opening exchange. DC looking for revenge. Plenty of more NSL action coming up the rest of this season. Sean and I will be along for the ride with all of you. So one final time, we'll ask you to smash the like button, hit subscribe so you don't miss any of the matches coming up over the next month plus. For Sean Choi, my name is Jackson Bragman. Thank you for watching the National Squash League on YouTube, and congrats to the 1-0 victorious Lake Erie Beacons.